You oh, good. They're recording. Oh no, I'm gonna have to click though. So today is the most important class. It is grow your business. So here's why this is the most important thing. There are a lot of awesome classes, and you can see like keeping up with every lead, strengthening relationship, negotiating, working with buyers, working with sellers. If you never find a person to work with, you never get to do anything. So there's a lot of agents that come to Ignite and get very excited about things like building their listing presentation. And guess what? They never go on a listing appointment, and they just spend all of this time doing all of these things. So you're going to get a lot of good nuggets out of all of the other classes, but you have to do everything that I'm saying first. That's the one rule. Deal? You guys okay with that? So here's kind of our flow for today. Sort of. I've changed some things in this because I think I have a different way. We'll talk about databases, building it, feeding it, communicating, servicing, recaps, ahas, and a daily success system. So Gary Keller says your database is your business. Building up the number of names in it and the relationships with those names is really at the very core of what building a real estate business is all about. So first of all, congratulations in owning a real estate business. That's very exciting for all of you. You are now officially business owners. Your job is to build the most number of people and be in the best relationship with them. That is your job right now. So you're going to have a lot of times where you're going to do things that don't feel very real estatey, right? For example, it's a KW. We're throwing an event at Jakers. We are inviting all of the people to go to a pumpkin patch. There is nothing real estate about that, but that helps us grow the number of people we know and the relationship with them. So that's our whole goal. If you're in great relationship with the most amount of people, you will do more business than anyone else, period. So we're going to build systems around this and a process so you guys can just do this at a very high level. And that is what your database is. So Command, is everyone using Command for your database? If you are not, you probably should be, unless you're on a team that's using something different. For example, the Red Sign team uses Brivity. It's like a fancier version of Command, but when you compare them side to side, they almost do all of the same things. But Brivity costs us like $1,500 a month, and Command is included with everything you have. So use Command, way better. In your database, they separate it into contacts and leads. Contacts are people you know, leads are people you don't know yet. Gary Keller used to call these people Mets and not Mets, but I don't think that was fancy enough for people, so we had to put confusing names between contacts and leads. So today, we're going to focus the most on contacts. And maybe those are the orange people. I don't know what this graphic means. So your whole goal is to get as many people that know you. And so Keller Williams, it's all about systems and models, right? It talks a lot about following the model. This is the lead generation model. The whole idea of a model is, imagine, Gary Keller explains this with certainty. Like you can be either 100% uncertain, like you have no idea what is going to happen, or you're 100% certain. But can you ever be 100% certain about anything? No, especially the future. It is by nature uncertain, right? Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? Probably not. got the stickers, got the shoes. Yeah. No, Tua's going to have another concussion. He's going to be out, and they're going to lose again. So there's no way to be certain. Now, the whole idea of a model is to do what someone else has done and has gotten results. So if you do exactly like someone does, you will get those results, right? If you want to lose weight, the model is eat better and exercise. and there's like sub models within that, right? Paleo or vegan or no, plant-based. That's the cool one now. And so there's a model on exactly what to eat, how much to eat. You follow that, you lose weight. You want to bulk up, you go to the gym, you do these certain workouts. It is a model on how to do it. You can be more certain that you're going to get the results. So this is our lead generation model. So it says you put leads in the top, you form relationships with these leads, you strengthen the relationship with your contacts, you cultivate them, and they are going to become new business and repeat business and give you referrals that will then be contacts, and it will just flow all over forever and ever. And then you become a Clay who's been doing this for 15 years, and it doesn't seem like he tries very hard, but he's got this worked out really well. So it doesn't matter if he goes out and meets new people or runs new ads or whatever, because he's just flowing right here. You guys might need to add a little more leads in the top right now, but this is basically what you're going to work on right now. So with us, oh, I thought I had another slide. We are going to deal a lot more with this relationship management. That's my favorite thing, because real estate is a relationship game, right? Number and relationships is what we're trying to do. You guys already know a bunch of people. Who's not from here? Not from Utah?
I've been here for almost
3 years. Okay. How many people do you think you know in Utah? Like their phone numbers? You were just guess, wild guess.
probably because of contact center.
200. So in 3 years, you get 200 names. You know what Gary Keller says your conversion ratio should be? 10% of people that you know, that if you market to them correctly, 10% of them should either close or refer you someone that closes. So 200 names, that should be about 20 closings, right? Our average commission right now is about 10 grand, 200 closings. I just made you $200,000. You can write me a check later. So put it all in command. So here is our model that we're going to live with our database. We are going to build the database together today. We're going to work on ways to feed it every day or add more people to the database. We're going to work out a plan to communicate systematically. And then obviously you need to service all of the leads. Most people think of real estate as servicing all of the leads, and they forget everything else. And that's where they struggle. We're going to work really hard on the first three, and then I'll let you guys fill in the rest of Ignite with that fourth, servicing the leads. So let's build the database. Yep. In the first three, building a database, feeding it, and communicating with it. The whole idea of like a secret agent where people become agents and no one knows, it's because they don't tell anyone that they're in real estate. So, what? Yeah. How many, if I were to talk to your friends, how many people know that you're a real estate agent that could sell them a house? That's your problem. Here, will you give one of these to everyone? Thanks.
Worked so hard. My first time, and it was a miracle of love, and I got by. And that night, I knew I needed to get on Facebook and put a video post and show my gratitude to God, because I just felt like, what kind of person am I to receive a gift like that and not share? And I just, it was like midnight. I was so tired, and I'm like, I can't go to bed until I am just showing my things. So,
I love that.
if you're going to be in the service industry, you don't know, it takes all the purpose.
Yes. Yeah, you have to let everyone know that you are in real estate. Otherwise, you'll never get anything. Right? It's like if I could do a backflip, I would do them all the time just so people knew I could do backflips. I definitely cannot, and definitely cannot on this leg. So let's build your database. So I gave you the sheet. It's got two sides. One's like a calendar thing. I'll explain that later. On the front side is lines for names and information. So we are going to pretend like we're doing this for real. So in Command, it has a bunch of different fields that you can fill in, but these are the important ones, right? It gives you a database score. And on the bottom is the percentages to get to 100% with every single person. So we are going to build out yours here in a minute. But the whole idea of a database is to have information on people so that you can seem like you know and care about their life. That sounds super cold, but at the fundamental level, it kind of is. You can actually care about them and things like that. But the more that you have in the database, the more it seems like you care because it seems like you're remembering, right? Do you know your friends' dogs' names or when their kids' birthdays are or anything like that? Probably not. You can put that all into a database and seem like you're the best friend ever, checking in on things, asking how their grandma is, blah, blah, blah. So I think every single person needs a name. I put this here because a lot of the contacts in my phone from my single days don't make sense in real life. For example, I have Amy Provo because I drove to Provo one day and I met this girl, Amy. I have no idea what her last name is. It is definitely not Provo, but she is in my phone to this day as Amy Provo. That does not help me in my marketing. I have a really good friend that his name's Ryan Christensen. We call him Pookie. He is in my phone as Pookie. I think that that is a better name because when he gets an email from me that says, hey, Pookie, he knows that it's from me and it's actually me. So I'm Cameron. Some people call me Cam. Some people call me Cameron. If I don't know you at all and you call me Cam in an email, that seems weird to me. If you know me and you call me that, like that seems natural. If you call me Cameron and you know me or you don't know me, that seems okay. So do the name that you know them as, but that's real, right? It's going to help you there. As much contact information as you have. This should be their phone number, their email address, and their home address. Because I want to be able to communicate with them all of the ways that you possibly can. Send them texts, send them emails, make phone calls, send them mailers, pop by their house, whatever that is. The more information you have, the more touches you'll be able to do. Keller Williams calls it the 36 touch, which is a game plan of how to touch on your clients and keep top of mind. And then if they've ever bought or sold a house, even if you weren't their agent, if you know when they bought a house or sold a house, the average person lives in their house 10 years. So, for example, me, I bought my rental property 10 years ago. I've already sold it. My second rental property I bought in 2014, sold it as well, right? We rolled that into other things. I didn't own either of those 10 years. If you know someone's been in their house 10 years and they don't match up with where they should live, they should probably move. So the more information you have, the better armed you are. I also like birthdays. Great little touch. Hey, happy birthday. Hope you have a great one. Send them something fun. Do they own or do they rent? Right? Are they a seller or a buyer is what it is in my mind. Where do they work? You are going to meet a bunch of people that are like, I would love to buy a house, but I need to make more money. If you know someone that like their job is to hire people into a big company like at Adobe or something like that, and you can place awesome people with them, like that's a win-win for everyone. Or like, you know, a plumber, an HVAC guy, like help out your clients with something like that. So knowing their job is awesome. And then it gives you something to talk about. Hey, how's work? You know what they're going to say? How's the real estate market? Or how's your job? You know, real estate is great. All of a sudden you're talking about real estate rather than plumbing or whatever they do. Tags and sources, we'll get in that in a second. So there's this program that's called the DTD2. It's called Do the Database 2. It is a way for you to organize your contacts. By the way, I don't know what number 1 was. We're on version 2.0, but Do the Database 1 was dumb. No one liked it, so they moved to version 2. So what it's going to do is it will organize your contacts so you just have to call 2 letters of the alphabet every single week. That's the calendar on the back of this. Hopefully Hunter shared it for you Zoomers. And so you can just look up like today's September 8th. I should call people that are P and L. Those are the only two letters that you need to worry about this week. What this does is every 13 weeks, you get through the whole alphabet and you've called everyone. So it makes it really easy to call everyone on your database every single quarter. So then they get 4 calls a year. They remember you're in real estate, you build a great relationship. I even put like my grandma on the DTD2. So at the worst case, I'm calling my grandma every quarter. She loves it. We're good to go. Now she has dementia. I just make sure I still reach out every quarter. So my family thinks that I still care about her. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to build it out. So for example, on the front side of the sheet with all of the names, we are going to write out everyone that you know that their last name begins with a P or an L. And with this, I want you to put a little checkbox. If you know their phone number, if you know their email, if you know their address, if you know their birthday, their job, their Facebook. So this is a whole like pretend database building. You can do it later. So it's a real exercise. If you're on Zoom, grab a piece of paper, pull out your phones, pull up Facebook, whatever you can. See if you can fill this out. What do we have? 30 people. And as you're doing that, I'll keep yelling things at you. It goes by the last name. So you can sort your phone by last name. See, I don't like that. I like it by the first name for some reason. Yeah, so write out the name, then check marks if you know their information. Now with the section that says source and tags, source should be how you know someone. This can be as generic as sphere of influence, SOI, if you know who they are. It might be friends or family, however you want to categorize that. I wouldn't get so granular as like an ex, someone that I met one time at the random party type of a source, but like it might end up being like open house or door knocking. This could be a Facebook ad that now you're friends with. That's not weird. Clay has helped Michael Jackson is his name, buy and sell 3 or 4 houses now. And he was a referral from another agent that now Clay is like friends with, that they talk all the time. Strange how you make friends in your adult life. No, I just do like a check mark or something. This is more for fun, to practice, to see how well you can fill out this. Because the whole idea of Ignite too, if you guys remember, you should be adding contacts to your database, which is one of the things that Clay probably mentioned. They want you to get to over 200 contacts in your database, which is kind of a hard thing to do when you think about it. Someone once told me that we used to live in tribes of 150 people, so it's hard to go over 150. I don't know if that's a true thing or made up, but most people can tend to get about 150 and then it starts to get hard. But you guys aren't most people. You're above average. Nope. I'm glad you asked. My favorite people don't live in Utah. Man, it sounds like I don't like people when I'm talking. The reason they're my favorite people is if you can keep in contact with them and have them reach out to you before they reach out to another agent, you just say, I'll set you up with my network of agents, find you someone amazing in your area, and then you call an agent and say, hey, I have a client for you. I want a 25% referral fee. You do 0 work and you collect 1/4 of the commission. There's nothing easier than that. Because you generated a lead for someone, you get money. My favorite way to do business. Now there's a line there that's called tags. You can get crazy with tags and filling in like how you want to segment people, which we'll talk about in a minute. My very favorite way to do it is, are they A, B, or C? Right? Your A clients, like imagine you're walking in a grocery store and you see someone that you know. If you go up and talk to them, they're probably an A. If you're like, oh, hey, I know you, I'm going to keep shopping down here, that's probably a B. If you do the Homer Simpson into the bushes kind of an idea and hide in the chip aisle or something, that's probably a C. And if they're anyone lower than that, they probably shouldn't be in your database.
So A is that you.
Yep, your friends, you work with them, you know them. Like if I told you to call these people right now, you would have no problem calling your A's. Your B's, you might question. Your C's, you'd tell me no. That's the hardest one. Most people don't have any emails. Oh, yeah. B are like, you're not really great friends with them, but you know them and they know you. Uh-huh. If you called her right now, would she know who you are? Yeah, she's a B. If you saw her in the grocery store, would you say hi?
Yeah, it might recognize her.
Okay. Yeah, B.
And that's okay for tax.
Yeah, and you don't have to fill that in right now. That's just an idea. The other tags that you could do, and we'll do more of these in a minute, but you could do like, is that my next slide? No, we're a couple away from it. You could do like first-time home buyers or sellers, investors, things like that. So we can get fancy. So how have you guys done? How many you got? Does everyone have more than 10? Not so hot at the names. You're right in my same category. Okay. Keep filling this out. Again, the whole idea, the more information you have, the better you'll be able to market to these people, right? Like think of about like a Target. You guys ever get the, yeah. So you can start, you can do two ways. You can either just straight ask them for information. And that has a whole bunch of different subtopics. Like you could add value, do a giveaway, just say, hey, what's your email? I want to send you something. However you want to do that. Or you can try to go find some of this stuff, right? Tax records. If you know they own a house and you know about where they live, you could probably put their name in the tax data and pull that up. You can pull up Facebook every day and see whose birthday it is and just update your database every single day for a year, kind of keep it up to date that way. So you can either go find the information or just ask for the information. I'm a fan of doing a combination because some things is weird. We'll do like the events. We'll make people sign up and require them to give us their email, their phone number, and their home address when they sign up for an event. We've done giveaways the same way. Or you can just say, hey, I got into real estate. I want to send you a list of cool houses. I'll give you more scripts in a minute. Yeah. Okay. Keep thinking if anyone else comes up. Any ahas as you're filling out this list? Is this hard to do?
No,
Take some effort.
for me, it's more like regret not keeping better contact. But how strategically been having possible contact on social media, so
Cool. Yeah, Hunter. Yeah, if you guys have questions with command and anything there, Hunter's your go-to. He's awesome at it, so he can get you rocking. There's probably a bunch of videos and stuff he can give you as well to help out. So, okay, feed your database. So Gary Keller talks about the two ways of feeding your database is through prospecting or marketing. What's the difference? What's prospecting? What's marketing? It sounds so similar, right? Kind of.
The way we explain that,
Uh-huh.
so the same people has to go out, prospect, they're very specific. So I think when you do marketing, it's maybe that out there, you do marketing, you're trying to people you don't know yet.
Yeah, I like that. I've always thought about it as like who's in charge. You know, with marketing, you put out some information and you're hoping that someone comes back to you. And so it's like that wide net, right? Like the canvassing, like you talked about. You're throwing it out there and then you're hoping that someone's going to come back to you. Usually this costs money. I mean, social media is something that you can do for free that is marketing. But it's like if you put a post on Facebook, like thanking God that you got your real estate license, like that could lead to business, but you don't know, you have no control over that. Then you have the prospecting side where you're kind of taking control and you're reaching out to people. It could be very specific targeted people that you're wanting to reach out, like FSBOs or expireds, circle prospecting around a listing, your database, but it's you going and trying to get rather than just hoping that everything comes back. Yep. Prospecting is active, marketing is passive. Not to say you don't have to do active activities to market, because you do, right? Social media, it is a lot of work to post constantly, to engage with the comments and likes and things like that, grow your followers. It's a lot of work, but you're putting it out there hoping someone's coming to you rather than you going to find, right? I guess it's the hunt versus the gather kind of a concept. So go ahead. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. You're actively doing something. You're not hoping that the gold falls in your hand as you dip your hand into the river. I don't know if that's a thing. Tried to follow your analogy, it fell out, didn't work. So I was going to say, Gary Keller talks about being prospecting based, marketing enhanced, or marketing enhanced, prospecting based, right? So it's doing both of the activities. So he says the best is being marketing based, prospecting enhanced once you get going. So we're not going to do that yet. That's the future. That's the, hey, I have $10,000 I can spend on ads this month. Where should I go get business? Yeah, you're not there. You're not throwing money into like Facebook and Google and all of these other things, your TikTok ads, whatever, to try to get business. You want the free ways. So we are going to be prospecting based, marketing enhanced. What that means to me is that you are going to go look for business, but you are going to supplement that through like social media posting, emails, other activities that you can do to get more people to recognize you. For example, imagine that I were to say, think of a brand of chips right now. All right, so who thought of Lay's? Ooh, oh, Doritos? Doritos. I would have guessed you were being Lay's too. So I named two chip brands and I got everyone in the room. How was I able to do that? They are top of mind. Yeah. So I always get Doritos, I always get Lay's. Doritos is more often now than it used to be, actually. Kind of strange. Some people think of Cheetos and then think, wait, that's not a chip. And then they think Doritos are Lay's. Funny story though, Lay's owns all of those, right? They're parent company and they own all of those brands. So they have done something great with the marketing. They are very top of mind. That's the whole idea. And I'm jumping around. That's number 3 a little bit more, but we are going to stay top of mind. So one way is we are going to add as many people as we can to the database, and then we are going to stay top of mind. I want you guys to be the Lay's and Doritos of the real estate world. So your sphere is probably the most valuable asset that you have in your business, right? Your database that you're building that I wrote down, people pay a lot of money for leads. Like, what did I just read the other day? The average Google lead for real estate costs $77. So if you go to Google and say, hey, I want real estate leads, you will pay $77 per person that they send you. How many people did you write down on your list? 19 times 77 is 463. Just kidding, I made that up. I have no idea what that math is, but it's probably it is way more, right? Because 20 would be like $1,400. So your database has value in it. And the reason that Google is charging so much is because they are getting people that are raising their hand saying, I want to buy or sell a house. You just have to get to that point where your friends, family, your sphere are doing that with you automatically. And so what we're going to do is add as many people and keep in contact with them so that you will generate new repeat and referral business. That's the whole idea. So if you were to think about it, who would your sphere refer you? Like, think of your people that you have right now. Who would they refer you? Like, if we were to look at like Hunter, his sphere are all like just graduated college kind of an idea. So his sphere is like that first-time home buyer, probably getting condos, maybe hoping for their first investment type, like they're going to live house hack kind of an idea. Who is your sphere going to refer you? What do they look like? Old? Well, what does that mean? Are they downsizing? Are they moving to their forever home? Done with kids? Maybe in that teenage years?
By vacation, but they're definitely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that second house, that downsize, all of that. Who else? What's your sphere look like? Who are they going to refer you? Who are you going to work with? Yeah,
So
Sam.
for my previous job, I made a lot of connections. And those contacts are small business owners. So people range anywhere from 25 to 40-ish.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, a lot of them have been in the area long term, but also for investment. So there's that share, and then my report, I've made a lot of contacts, certainly a lot of calling. I've been able to get relationships with.
Sweet. The reason that I ask is a lot of the times we just want everyone to work with all of us. But the more that you can niche down and be very specific, the easier it is to find people like that. For example, if you call your sphere and say, who do you know looking to buy or sell? A lot of the times that's like too many people that they're trying to think of. And unless someone specifically recently mentioned it to them, they're not going to have a good answer. But if you say, who do you know from work that needs help in real estate? That's a lot more specific. They can think of a handful of people that they work with and be like, oh, you know what? So-and-so just had a baby. I have no idea about their housing situation, but babies usually equal needing more room, right? Oh, so-and-so just got a divorce. I wonder if they need to sell their house. And then boom, you got a referral. But when they're thinking of everyone, it's hard. So as you look at targeting people, you have a targeted message if you know who you're going to work with. The next step is figuring out that how you know that they will refer you business. So I'm a big fan of stats and numbers and things like that. So on average, people move every 10 years. 64% of America owns homes. So if you do the math, every year, 6.4% of people sell their house. So if you have a big database, 6.4% of those people should move. But you should get a whole bunch of referrals from people you don't know. So how do you ensure that your sphere will refer you business? I think that you need to teach them. So my aunt, she used to always tell me, she was a waitress, and she said, oh, I used to always give out your information to people in my restaurant. When they like mentioned something about housing and stuff, she'd hand the card. I would always give her cards, and she would hand them out constantly. Guess how many people called me? Not a single person, not one. But if she would have just changed her script and been like, my nephew is in real estate and he is amazing. Here's his card. What's your phone number? I'll have him reach out to you. I bet I probably would have closed 10 to 20 transactions from that alone. And so if you can teach your sphere, like, hey, take that next step and just connect us, like put us in a group message, send me their contact information or whatever. I would always joke that I would just spam people. Like, yeah, send me their email so I can spam them. I want to put them on a text drip so they get an email or a text message every 10 minutes, something like that. So if you teach your sphere, then they will be that referrals, keep in contact with everyone constantly. So they're the new and the repeat. And that goes back to our model where it's just like I was telling, Clay just gets these repeat referrals and people, he doesn't need new business. He could just work what he's done in the past decade. Get testimonials and reviews, right? This is huge. Figure out one place that you're going to house all of these and have everyone write you a review or a testimonial. Start with your friends and family that know you, that are like, they're awesome. Here's why. When you go to meet with a random stranger, let's say your friend refers you to someone that then refers you to someone, you have no idea who this person is you're going to meet with, and they decide that they want to sell their house. What's the first thing they're going to do? They're going to figure out if you're legit. They're going to Google you. What are they going to find? If they Google Cameron Wilson, they're going to find a golfer. I'm very upset that he has my same name. There is also a Cameron Wilson that is a KW agent in the South Valley office. So you're not going to find me probably very well. Unless you go like the Red Sign, like I'm a few layers deep. So I lean on the Red Sign branding for this. But if someone Googles your name, what are they going to find? And what are people going to say of you? Yep. Yep. Because people want to know that they can trust you. So some people will make up a review, right? They sold me my first house. And you're like, I've never sold a house in my life. That's fine. Tell them to be genuine. You know who I am. You know how I act. Say what's good about me in a review. And someone could say, Cameron is so consistent. He'll for sure take great care of you. You'll love his knowledge, whatever. That's all real. It doesn't have to mean that I sold them a house. So do that with everyone. As you start to get clients, even have them do it before they close. Then when you have closings, for sure, every closing should give you a review. Like I said, put it all in one place. Google's my favorite, but that doesn't mean it has to be yours. Some people like LinkedIn, some people like Facebook, whatever you decide, every review goes in one place. And then you forget about the rest. Nope. Because they're reviewing you as a person, right? Yep. So do they think that you're going to work hard because you have in the past? Maybe don't call friends from high school or college. Like that might not work out as well. Hey, give me a review. This one time, he stole a street sign. No, that was my friends. They would literally show up to my house like, check out this stoplight that we just found. Like, you didn't find a stoplight. Where did you get this? They're harder to get rid of. Yeah. And then whatever you want to be, like you want people to say, start being that, right? If you want to say that you're responsive, make sure you're answering your phone like crazy, right? And then you will be getting these reviews as responsive. If you don't want to be known for being responsive, like Shoni, have you guys ever texted Shoni? He is not very responsive, but he is great at everything else. I'm not worried. I would trust Shoni to sell me a house. But I know that if I need information this second, Shoni's probably not the best person to go to because he's busy. Maybe he's different with his spheres. I don't know. So figure out what you want people to say and be that. Okay. We're going to skip ahas so we can move along. To succeed at a high level in real estate sales, you must commit to frequent contact with the database with the intent of building close relationships. Building close relationships. Have I said it enough today? That's your whole goal. Yes. Do you have friends that you actually care about? That's what you're going to do. I have two ways to build a relationship. Number one is a friendship. You are actually their friend. You talk to them often, you hang out with them, you want to see their family, you want to be with them. That is what most people think of a relationship. The second one I call the dentist relationship, where he's got some database in the background that you know that his little assistant is typing in things the whole time that he's talking, like, how's the family? And you're like, oh, my wife Cassie's good. And boom, she writes Cassie in the notes. And then right before he gets in, he's looking, wife's name's Cassie. Boom. Yep. Yep. So it is a very professional relationship. You don't feel like you're best friends with your dentist, but you could have a great dentist that you want to refer. Same thing with like a lawyer. That is a very professional relationship. Like they're probably not doing like client events and stuff like that. Seems weirder. Like a divorce attorney doing a client event. That sounds like that. Maybe that's a good idea. I don't know. Singles mixer. Whatever. So you don't need to be friends, but you can have a close relationship with them. And so that's the thing. Building close relationships doesn't need to mean friendship. It could mean a professional relationship. So in this section, we are going to communicate systematically. So it talks about segmenting your database. This is how I would use my tags. Obviously, A, B, and C are the best to know who you should focus on. You could probably even have a VIP, people that refer you business, stuff like that. Like maybe those are the people you invite to like the pumpkin patch event that's coming up, because you actually have to pay money for each person that shows up. So you don't want to invite your whole database because 200 people plus their families, that could get expensive real quick. Not everyone shows up though, but maybe it's just your VIPs. So it talks about segmenting them and like, I don't know, golf, military, dog lovers. I'm not a fan of that. I don't care about things like that. I'm more, let's go homeowners, first-time home buyers. By the way, if you're a renter, you're a first-time home buyer in my mind. I don't care if you've owned a house before, you're a first-time home buyer again, because you don't own a home. Homeowners, these are just sellers. They're going to sell. At some point, they will sell their house, whether it's them or their estate selling their house. They're going to sell. Out of state investors, etc., you can get as creative as you want because tags have no limit. Then what it says is you take the same newsletter, but you can tweak it slightly, right? If you're into golf, here's a review of this golf course. If you're an investor, here's some market stats. If you're a dog lover, yes. Do you know people that don't live here? Yeah. Market to them. You set them up with an agent in that state, and they'll give you a referral fee. 25% is the common. So I talked to a guy yesterday in California. You do. Just claim you know someone, because it's called the referral network. It's in Command. There's a little like, I think the icon's like a map, or maybe it's a handshake. The handshake.
Not private, right?
Yes. Yeah. If they say, hey, Sharon, I want to buy a house. You say, great, where are you? And they say, I'm in San Diego. You do the silent cheer because you know the average purchase price is ridiculous there. And then you go to Command and you click on the little handshake icon and it will pull up a map, and then you type in San Diego and it will list out all of the agents in their production. And you can filter however you want there. You can do teams or solo agents, people in coaching, however many. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So handle should say Utah.
I don't know. Get creative. Whatever you want.
I
Yeah.
originally had a Utah, so then I was like, but then
Just like using my personal
People kind of do though. It's weird. Yeah, like think about like the influencers you follow and then how they're just like randomly like, here's my pantry and my kids are just making a mess out of it. And you're like, oh, I love that. You know?
So like you connect with people open door.
But then you have a separate like filter out like all people who are known on like kids see a little bit more intimate sides, and then like private, you don't know what on is kids.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always my thing. This is strange. This is strange. Yeah. So out of state are awesome because then you just connect them with an agent and you wipe your hands and you're done. And then that agent will send you a 25% referral fee. So like yesterday, I talked to a guy in California. His average purchase price is 1.3 million. So yep. So he's getting like 20 to 30 grand every single closing. You get a quarter of that. You're looking at 5-7 grand just because you made a connection. Like there's people that's their whole business. They don't actually do real estate. They just send referrals out. Like, that is a legit business that people make lots of money on. It is, they just figure out the marketing and the relationship side. So people reach out to them first. And if you can figure out that, you can scale as huge as possible. Newsletter, if you're doing it, you can segment it. I don't think you need to. Okay, so here's how we communicate. There's a lot of information on this, but when you get a lead, a person that you don't know, Keller Williams has this 19 to connect. There's probably a plan built out in Command that you can just say, yep, add to my smart plan library. What it is you do a quarterly phone call, you do a monthly email, you do 2 mailers, basically what they are, and then an event. I think that sounds crazy for someone that you don't know. If you don't know them, I would go crazy on trying to get a hold of them until they tell you to stop or they answer your phone call. Like legit call them every day and then text them every day and kind of on and off, call and text until you hear from them. And then they're either going to say, man, you're aggressive. I love you. You're going to be my real estate agent when I'm ready. Or man, you're aggressive. I hate you. Screw you. Either way, you're either good or you're not. And so that's my game plan. Some people call it the 10 days of pain or 21 days of gain. Basically, call one day, text one day, call one day, text one day. And lots of different ways. So imagine you get a listing and someone calls on your sign. There's a lead right there. Imagine that you post something on Facebook and someone responds and says, yeah, I want to buy this. Here's my phone number. That one sounds made up. I don't think that ever happens. Or you're calling through your database or Sphere and someone's like, oh, hey, I actually know someone, call this person. Maybe don't be so aggressive if it's like a referral. Or someone comes to an open house and says, I want to work with you, call me back. You know, so you have this information, but you don't really have them. Yep. You always want everyone's info. The more info that you can have, the better off you're going to be. Yep. Yep. And then you can click one button and add them to a campaign to remind yourself to do things. But calls and texts are the best. Emails kind of work, right? So call and text for this. Then your whole goal is to move them from a lead to a contact. Keller Williams says you should do this through the 1 to cement, which they define as a high value touch that solidifies the relationship that you just established and open the doors to future interaction. So what's one thing of value that you can give? It's really hard to come up with an idea, so I'm going to do it for you. Unless you get more creative than me, you can do whatever you want. My very favorite high value touch that you can give is an appointment. Have a buyer's appointment or a listing appointment with them. If they say, I'm a year out, great. Let's sit down in my office. We'll make a game plan. I'll start sending you houses. I'll answer all of your questions now. We'll be ready for a year from now. Hey, I want to sell, but I don't know when we're going to do it. That's fine. I'll come by your house. I'll get a look at it. That way, if you're ready in a month or ready in a year, I've already been here. We can move quickly. Plus, I can tell you any projects that you might need to handle in the next little while that buyers care about.
Yeah, so the point, and then you, like, in that appointment, find out what they're wanting.
Yep. Yep. As you get further into real estate, you will do this less, definitely, right? Imagine you're working with 10 buyers and you're running around crazy trying to handle all of them. You're probably not going to meet with a buyer that's like, I'm like a year or two out. Like, you probably won't do that. But if you do, they've met you. 75% of people that meet with an agent work with that agent. So why would you not just meet with as many people as you can? It kind of makes sense. Yeah, but I don't think you're going to get the 75%, but that would work. Yeah. Well, probably would work depending on what you're saying in your mini appointments and how much they care about. So then everyone should be on a 36 touch. I don't care if you're lead to cement to then 36 touch, or you just drop people on your 36 touch day one. Here's how it works. You should have 4 phone calls. This is quarterly, hence the DTD2 that we just worked on, where, oh, Parker, you should have one of these. Write down all the people that you know that their last name begins with P or L. So if you run the DTD2 and call 2 letters a week, kind of an idea, boom, you'll do your 4 phone calls a year. 26 touches should be a bi-weekly email offering some type of value. My very favorite email of value is to set them up on a hot sheet of homes that they would care about. Either their neighborhood or their dream house that they would move if they moved. Set it up on the MLS to go out every 2 weeks and forget about it. Because then you don't have to come up with an email, and it is of value to them because they told you. A little harder to set up because you have to ask every single person, hey, what do you want me to send you? But once you set it up, you're doing this like clockwork. You don't even have to think about it. Yep. Their address. Yep. Yeah. What do they call it? The market update, right? No, they have a fancier name for it. Yes. That same kind of concept. So you put their address in, boom, you click that. It will send them their their neighborhood every other week for as long as they're subscribed. That works great if they're a seller. If they're a buyer, you have to figure out how to send them houses that they might care about. But that's fine if someone, like, I had a buddy one time, I sent him multi-million-dollar houses every 2 weeks. He's like, we're not going to move, but if you're going to send me something, like, send me the coolest houses. So I did like $2 million pluses on the MLS in Salt Lake County, and it said every 2 weeks. And he thought that was the coolest thing because everything was awesome. Then you do 2 events or get-togethers or parties. Keller Williams makes this really easy because we do 2 every single year. Usually in the summertime, they do Keller Splash, and then in the fall, they do Keller Ween, which they rent out Jakers. Both of those you have to pay for. So this actually falls to a lower level to me if you're going to pay for it. The alternative is do like lunches or coffee or whatever, where you just meet up with people, have get-togethers at your house, whatever. Be social. The more face-to-face you can get, the better. And then 4 mailers. To be honest, that's my least favorite. But if you're going to do them, you should send a mailer out for each of the 2 events. Send a mailer out for their birthday, and then send them a Christmas card. And you've done your 4. And so then your 36 touch becomes follow your DTD2, make sure everyone's set up on an email that goes out every 2 weeks of houses, and do your 2 events, and your mailer's kind of taken care of if you're doing birthdays and events and things. I think the importance level is actually in this order. If you're like, I'm not able to do mailers, fine. Lots of people don't do mailers, still have success. If you don't have the money for parties, great, don't do that. Emails, basically free, for sure do that. Phone calls will get you the most results, so do that very first. Questions around this 36 touch? They call it 36 to convert. No. No. The average real estate industry is 1 in 5 read their emails. Open their emails.
If I see houses that I can look at.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's why I say send houses. And then you can call every quarter. Hey, I send you a bunch of houses. Anything cool? Anything that you like? My wife literally sent me a $3 million house yesterday. She's like, how can we buy this? I was like, we can't. She's like, well, what if we sold our house and used all of that money as a down payment? I'm like, I don't know how you get a $2.7 million loan. And at today's interest rate, that's like $18,000. So no.
Yeah.
And she's like, what if? I was like, no. But she is looking at houses constantly, right? Why don't we just send out more houses? People love that. Do that. So that's the plan. So the only thing we didn't talk about is what to say in the phone calls. So we are going to make phone calls because that's the secret of getting more business. So you guys have these nice fancy lists that I just tricked you into writing out a whole bunch of people. We're going to call them. So hit me with all of your excuses on why you would not call these people. I'm okay with that. Dean's probably not. So we're going to do it anyway.
I am afraid of being alone.
Okay. Do you guys like to help your friends? Okay.
But I don't feel like
You don't need to be pushy. So remember, the whole idea is build the relationship. That's number one. Next, what was you going to say?
I was just saying.
Yep.
Take interest in their lives.
So one of the whole scripts is it's Ford or Frog. I don't remember what. Oh yeah, Frog was the other one. So Ford is family, occupation, recreation, dreams. I've never asked anyone about their dreams on one of these phone calls though. So I don't know who does that. Frog is basically the same: family, recreation, occupation, goals. I have asked about goals on phone calls. So that is like a loose overview of where you can take the conversation. But you probably know these people, and it might, I mean, I don't know, maybe you look down and you're like, we should talk about dreams with this person. Like if I called my cousin right now, he should think about his dreams and what he wants to be, because he's been in a dead-end job for 3 years and he hates it. And I'm like, why are you still there? But he's still there. So when I call him, I ask him about his dreams, but nothing else. So I always think you just need an excuse to call.
if somebody just called me
So I come up with excuses for myself, because the other side, they don't need an excuse why you're calling them. We have to have an excuse, like we feel like we're calling them, but it's not real. Like I had, it's been a few years now, but I had a friend call me, start asking me some questions, catching up with me, and then he asked if I knew anyone that wanted to buy a medical building because he was in medical supplies. And I was like, oh my goodness, you just prospected me right now, didn't you? And he's like, yeah. I was like, this didn't feel weird at all. And he's like, why would it? I was like, I don't know. Every agent that I know is scared of this. And he's like, no, it's not scary. Just call people you know and they'll help you. So whatever the excuse needs to be for you to feel better. So here's some excuses. Hey, I just got my real estate license and I want to close a deal before the end of the year. You know, on average, it takes 90 days for a deal to close. Like from you calling someone to them closing takes about 90 days. Do you know what's in 90 days? Christmas. Christmas is coming in like 90 days. So like think about your children. Think about the children.
they don't ever want to forget about it.
Yeah, yeah. So your calls today literally is going to pay for their Christmas. So that's like an internal excuse. Your external excuse could literally be you were in a class and I am making you do this. Some people say, I'm in a competition right now. I'm looking for the most people. Who do you know that I should talk to? That is literally a script. So I added points here in case that helps you. Here's a point system for you to have a competition. If you don't want it to be a competition, you don't have to run that.
So hold on.
What else? Why else wouldn't you call these people? We'll keep going with Sharon's here in a minute, but what else? Anyone nervous about anything?
I guess, yeah, just coming off like shallow or ingenuine, but not executing it right. That's how you get good at it.
Yeah.
You gotta kind of fall forward.
I'll often say things like, hey, like when I was first at, hey, I just got into real estate. I know that you know a lot of people, so I wanted to reach out, like almost stroke their ego, like,
Yeah.
like you know everyone that I should know. So I just wanted to reach out. Like, I'm building my business. Anyone that you know that needs any help with real estate, has any questions, I'd love to reach out to them.
It's something I've kind of done to kind of stroke people's egos too, is I call them and say, hey, I'm starting up my real estate business. I'm sure you've kind of seen that. And then I just say, I'm wanting to get better at marketing, and I'm going to start sending out some emails that hopefully bring value to my friends and family. I really value your opinion. Could I send you, could I like put you on my list and you can kind of give me feedback of how it goes?
Say that again.
I just
No, I.
kind of with the stroking the ego thing, like if you can call them and be like, hey, I really value your opinion. I don't have a ton of marketing background, but I really want to get better at this. And I'm going to be sending out emails that I hope are, valuable to my friends and family. Could I put you on my list and give you some feedback and how it goes?
Well, and then what's great about that script is when you don't have their email, you get asked, what's your email?
Yeah, then you got to set them up on your list. And say, okay, I'll just need your email, your birthday, and your home address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
then
boom,
I
you're
set
checking
them up-
all the boxes
I
right
set
there
them
on that
up
list.
Neighborhood things so I can send out that email.
That's another great script, by the way, is, hey, I'm in real estate. As you know, I send houses to people all the time. And most people looking at houses anyway. Can I send you a bunch of houses? What do you want? You want fancy houses? You want houses in your neighborhood? You want this? You want that? Whatever. And you take down all of the notes. Then you set them up on a hot sheet or a neighborhood nurture. That's what it's called. It's all on the MLS. You can have Hunter help you. Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't say so can I, say, how do you say that fluidly without sounding like my mind of like, it's gotta be.
Say, would it be okay? Would it be okay if, like, after I tell them I really value their opinion and all that?
So what this is called, this is permission marketing. Like, you are asking their permission to market to them. People that do that get very high results from it because they know it's coming. Like, have you ever signed up for a newsletter? You open those newsletters. When you don't sign up for a newsletter, but somehow they've captured your email address and then they send you newsletters, those are what you unsubscribe from. And so if you ask their permission, you will get crazy great results with the rest of it.
Yeah, I kind of have like two full people right now. I have the people that I know would love help. Like, they feel good knowing that they're providing some value. I love doing that too. Like, someone called me yesterday, that's something, but. And then I have like a bunch of old contacts from Arrive that I haven't talked to for like 2 years. emails. And so I just go back and like, oh, that's years ago, they're just, so I'm just gonna set them up on it and see. But I feel like the people that you have a peaceful relationship with, like, people feel good when they can help in some small way. I don't know.
So, okay, just reiterate again, would it be okay to have your address and your email address and your review?
Marketing stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Houses,
You're pretty much just
Marketing,
asking
whatever.
for their feedback is really valuable.
I'll put online. We don't have to do this.
It's supposed to Zoom right now.
yeah. No, Zoomers, you have to do this too. Was it Brian? What did we decide his name was?
Like, still there?
Someone's still there. Okay. So it's 10:45. At 11 o'clock, we're going to get back together and go over how it went. Keep track of how many people you called, how many people you talked to, and definitely try to get referrals or appointments. Start with names on your list. If you get all the way through your list, which probably won't happen, then you can start calling other people.
This people, like,
P and L. Yep. And everyone stay down in this room. You can spread out like Sam already did, but stay downstairs. So I know you're not going to sneak away from me. Ooh, call the police. Brittany Lindsay. I know Brittany Lindsay.
She hasn't taught. She'd be a first.
Okay. Hey, Brittany, did you know I just got my real estate license?
Okay.
I
know
wanna
it's
be
just
able to
a
help
little
you.
bit weird. We were best friends. Hi, we've had a little bit of a falling out. I still like everything.
Yeah. It's a Get Smart Plans or something. I forget what they. Yep, the library. That's what it's called. I think if you Google 36 Touch or search 36 Touch. Yep. Other people will create their content that you can copy.
you have to individually like drag people onto the smart plan.
You can like bulk add a little bit. Yeah. So you go down to your contacts, select them all, and then add them to the campaign. There's a few things that you need to do within the smart plan to make sure that it's running for you and running correctly. So do you have a question?
So for example, like if you set them up on like a neighborhood smart plan where there's giving you that email.
Yeah.
If they don't have an address or.
Yeah, it won't work
it
if
won't send- it
I-
won't send.
yeah, I don't think it does. You
Okay.
should play around on that to double check. Because they used to have a default address, which was Keller Williams headquarters. And so people would get it from Texas, but I think they've fixed that since then. Again, Hunter is awesome. So if you need help, schedule an appointment with him. He can give you a bunch of information on how to do things, and there's a whole bunch. So give me some ahas about building your database, growing your database. What did you learn today? What are you going to implement?
Bill Jerky. No. There's no matter.
Just pretend like you're talking to your friends. Like that second call. That's what you need to do. You got this. What else? Not a lot of knowledge going on in here.
Well, there's a lot to it, you know, like, but I just keep thinking that doing it more often is the more natural. That's the concern. A lot of us feel like you said it's gonna be as natural. But also, it is still us, right? Like, we're still the ones, you know, our relationship we have with these people, these conversations we're having. We want to have these conversations, at least I do, with these people. I just never had time to do it. So now I have time because it's part of my job. It's
Mhm.
great. So I think it is, I think the concern of it not being genuine is something we can think about. Also, I think we would have done those things if we had. So now we have.
You got to make time if you don't have it.
Quick call. Whether you're in class or not, it's a good one.
Yep.
I have,
You have the talkers, you give yourself an out. Always have a way out. If you don't feel like you have time, I call people on my drive all the time. And that's my favorite time to call people I haven't talked to in a long time. Cause I'll just call them and be like, hey, are you on I-15 right now? Cause they can obviously tell I'm driving. And they're like, no, why? I'm like, oh, I swear I just saw you. And people are like, oh, that's so crazy. And then I'm like, oh, where do you live? Where do you work? We're like, tell me anything about your life now. And then all of a sudden we're just launched into it. And they're like, well, what about you? And I'm like, oh, I'm in real estate. And they're like, oh, I think I knew that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm real bad at social media. And they're like, yeah, you are. So whatever your excuse is, like, just figure out a time to fit all of that in and then give yourself an excuse to call people. By the way, events are the easiest time to call people. So like, if you have some money and can do the Kellerween, whatever we're calling it, the pumpkin patch down at Jakers, it's like $7 a person, maybe. In Springville.
Person size and the fee.
No. No. Yeah. But that event coming up, if you need an excuse to call someone, it's like, hey, I got into real estate. I'm having a client appreciation event, which means I want you to be my client in the future. Why don't you come to my event? Kind of a thing. And then people will just show up. You get a face-to-face conversation, you get to rekindle the relationship, and you've had an excuse to call them. 90% is just come up with an excuse for yourself. And then just make some phone calls.
say that you already got in a conversation with someone, or you have a client and you don't know how to cut off the conversation. I'm horrible with that.
Like someone's talking too long. Just say, oh shoot, I gotta go. And just hang up. That might give another phone call, like, are you okay? Kind of a thing. But like, oh, I really need to talk to this person that's calling me on the other line. Let's catch up again. Yep. Yeah.
Interrupt. And so, it's like, oh my goodness, I have to work before I can start. I used to be trying to look like life. But you say, you know, I've got to do this. Or something else is wrong with it.
Yeah, or you can always just set a time to get together later. Like, oh my gosh, we've been talking for so long. Like, we need to get together. And then you just set up a lunch or a dinner, drinks, whatever. Ooh. So you got to put it out there, and then you got to follow up, talk to as many people as you can. Top of mind is key. Conversations build the relationship. Yeah. Well, and if think about it, like we're talking about relationships and we're thinking like really good friends relationships, but like think about some of your good friends. I have these great friends with that it seems like every month we're like, we need to get together because it's been a while. And then you know what we do? Nothing. We absolutely do nothing. We have a group chat talking about how funny it is that we haven't gotten together. We make a plan. Half of us can't come. The other half is like, well, maybe we just don't do it. And we kick it to next month. There's literally an unread text message that's like, should we play like games, like a poker night or something on Saturday night? And no one has responded to it yet. And we're trying to all decide, like, can we make it? Like, that's life. But we have great relationships. Like, I could call any one of them and be like, shut up. I have to ask you this question. Who do you know in real estate? No, you have to give me someone right now. Like, I could have that conversation because we have such good relationships. And then I could hang up on them and we would still be friends.
Right.
So that is adulthood. So be okay if you never get together. I can always, every quarter, you can be like, gosh, we never get together. Good thing I call you. I'll call you again in 3 months. Like, make a joke around it. It doesn't matter. So, yeah. Oh, I lie all the time to people. Like, I'm driving on the freeway. I didn't see you. I just thought I should call you. I just give myself excuses. Okay, so here's your homework. I don't know. There's probably real homework from Ignite, but my homework to build your business. Start by putting as many people as you can in your database. If it seems overwhelming to go all at once, do it week by week. You have the calendar, all of the different letters. From now to the end of the year, you can get everyone in. If you have time, do it as quickly as possible. Go through your phone, add all of those people. More information, the better. Then have a goal to add more people to that every single week. Hopefully, these are from referrals or people that you missed. Right? You run into that person at a random soccer game or the grocery store or something, and you're like, you're not in my database, but you should be. And then you can start having a conversation. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Find someone on Facebook or Instagram that you used to be friends with. Try to figure out how to get their contact information to be able to communicate with them. Yeah, slide into their DMs, whatever. I don't know. Feed it every single day. And because what that's going to do is you're going to realize there's people in your database that you just don't want to talk to. I have one in mind. His name is Creeper Craig. I don't want to talk to him. So I originally put him in my database and I thought, why am I even putting him in my database? I don't want to work with him if he wants to buy a house. His name is Creeper Craig. So he's not in my database anymore, but I have since made new friends, found some other people that aren't creepers, and I've added them to my database. Communicate systematically. Never stop reaching out to these people. You should do it at least 4 times a year. If you do it more, you'll probably have a better relationship. Send them emails, send them texts, get on social media, like, comment on their stuff, be their friend or be their professional person, right? Those are kind of your 2 options. I'm your go-to real estate person, or I'm your friend, so I'm your go-to real estate person. Either way, you're getting real estate. And then make sure you don't let them all fall through the cracks. And you're going to learn a lot about how to service the leads through buyers, sellers, appointments, showing houses, going under contract, all of that through the rest of Ignite. So you can learn all of that, but don't forget, this is the most important class. And you can tell every other teacher that I said that and that it's true and that you actually made phone calls in this, because every class should have time for you to make phone calls, but I don't think anyone does it. So that's why I force you to do it. Okay, questions? Anything else? Okay, we're done. Oh, look at that, 2 minutes early. Thanks for coming, guys.